the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 2 years in the state jail facility
Yes,
and up
Your
to a $10,000 fine?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, she has, Your
Do
Honor.
you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
I do so believe.
Do you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Indeed, I do.
Ms. Garcia, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No.
Satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived her right to jury trial, showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
According to the plea, there's a $1,000 fine and state recommends deferred adjudication. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
Yes,
State?
it is, Your Honor.
Showing you the waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
None, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you outside the agreement. State is requesting that your deferred adjudication be for a term of 2 years. There'll be a TAP evaluation, 120 hours of community service restitution, and no contact with HEB. Did you understand those were recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then to the offenses charge, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contender.
State any evidence? Any objections?
We reviewed them, Your Honor. There are no objections.
All right, states, you may continue to confer. Going to show you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate
Yes, Your
places?
Honor.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
We are, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Yes, Your Honor. This unfortunate incident happened after she had a baby and the state in its magnanimity had delayed getting her WIC benefits or anything, and she didn't have any money and needed to feed the kids and her pets. And she has learned her lesson. And I would hope that the court would go along with the state's recommendation and put it on deferred adjudication for a period of 2 years.
All right, why do you keep stealing?
I haven't stolen in a long time, Your Honor. I was just hard times, and at the time I actually was on drugs, but I'm clean now, so I have a clear mind.
All right, the whole thing where you're telling me I haven't stolen in a long time, that's not a good lead in. Because it appears that you keep going into places and taking things that don't belong to you. So why are you taking cosmetics from HEB?
I can't even recall what it was, Your Honor, to be honest with you. I was high at the time.
What drugs?
Heroin.
Okay. Do you have any children?
A 21-year-old. Yes, thank you.
All right, so what was,
17-year-old, and I had a miscarriage.
okay. If you're released, who would you live with?
I have my own apartment.
How long have you been in custody?
I've been in custody on the 20th, they brought me in. 19th to the 20th, I'm sorry.
When's the last time you had employment?
I've been employed off and on,
When I say employment, I mean steady employment. I mean, you work
Steady
40
employment.
hours and you get a paycheck at the end of those 40 hours.
like 2021. I was hosting at Real Cantina,
I'm sorry, what?
at Real Cantina as a hostess.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, this is what the court is going to do. The court is going to sentence you to 3 years deferred adjudication. There's $1,000 fine that'll be probated. And to the clerk, can you tell me what the court cost is for this?
Yes, ma'am.
There's to be no contact with HEB.
Yes, Your Honor.
So that means, I don't even think they have Handy Andy anymore.
Walmart, Judge.
Yeah.
About the only alternative.
Okay.
That's a ridiculous amount you pay to stop and go.
Yes. There's to be 120 hours of community service restitution that will not be waived. There's to be a referral to felony drug court and a TAP evaluation in custody. You need to be honest with felony drug court. You understand? Proof of employment within 30 days of release. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. 90 sober meetings in 90 days. Field visits 1 time per month until in treatment. There's to be no unsupervised contact with minors. And the UA hotline until further notice. To the clerk. All right, the court cost in this case is going to be $380 approximately. Will you be able to pay that on an installment plan?
Yes, Your Honor.
Probation, is there anything else she needs? Yes. So there's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. Is there anything else you need from the court to be successful?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we can go off the record. Using drugs is never a good thing, because you tell me you have children. They're old enough to know what's going on, right? And you don't want the last time you use to be the last time you use, because if the last time you use is the last time you use, you know what that means? That means that your body is going to be somewhere and somebody's going to have to identify your body. And I don't think you want your children, where's mom? And having your 21-year-old having to identify you. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Felony drug court is a very good program. You need to do your best to get in that program and be honest with them. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, if you're accepted into felony drug court, you will not be under the umbrella of this court for me on your day-to-day basis with probation. You'll be receiving probation conditions from them. Right. I know you can be successful at it. Once you graduate, you let me know you're graduating. I'll show up at your graduation.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, good luck to you, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Your Honor. Is there anything else?
Nope, that's all.
May we be excused?
Yes.
Thank you. Wait, don't go so fast.
All right, who is on Brandon Reese? And then after Brandon Reese, it will be Terrence Bowie. And on this one too, Adriana, I'll need to know the court costs. Court is calling 2023 CR 10131, State of Texas versus Brandon Anthony Reese. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Hank Wilkins for the state, Your Honor.
Defense?
Ron Ross for the defense.
Are you Mr. Reese? Counsel, have you received all the discovery? Did you review it with your client?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Excuse me. Mr. Hicks. Hi. If you need to talk to her, she needs to go to the other end because we're on the record. We're back on the record. Mr. Reese, I'm showing you what's entitled Application for Community Supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do, Judge.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
We are, Your Honor.
Mr. Reese, I'm showing you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you're charged with the offense of felon in possession of a weapon? That is a third-degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, he has.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
Yes, I do.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, I do.
Mr. Reese, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Sure. Going to show you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, punishment is to be assessed at 4 years in the prison. There's a $500 fine. State recommends community supervision. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense?
It is, Judge.
State?
Yes, Your Honor.
Showing you the waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by citing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, are there been any such motions?
No, ma'am.
Next, I'm showing you outside the agreement. The state is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 4 years. There'll be a TAP evaluation and 160 hours of community service restitution. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State any evidence.
Yes, Your Honor, I offer States Exhibit 1 in the attachments.
Defense has no objection.
All right, state, you may continue to confer. Showing you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there'll be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes. Yes, we'd like to, Judge.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
He's got one prior felony. It was back in 2011. It wasn't a weapons charge. It was evading, I think. And I don't think he has any other felony cases. He understands that he messes up, he's gonna go to prison. He doesn't want to go to prison. I would just ask you to accept the plea bargain agreement, go ahead and sentence him to give him the 4 years probation.
All right, how many children do you have?
I have two.
What are their ages?
One is 10, one is 7.
Are you involved in their life?
CPS, they took them like a long time ago.
Okay. Do you have any other children on the way? All right, what's up with the tattoo on the neck and all of that?
It's a Ferragamo symbol.
All right,
It's a Ferragamo.
all right, we know where we are, don't we? Because nobody is just putting symbols around just to, oh, I like this brand.
Yeah, it's just Ferragamo.
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
that brand.
Yeah. Mhm. Nobody likes a brand that much to put it on their body. It amazes me, people who are not from San Antonio, when they see people with all the San Antonio Spurs, they're like, oh my gosh, they must really be into their team to put a spur on their head. I'm like, okay. All right. When's the last time you had employment?
Well, I do temp. I also do like referral, like Medicare, health insurance referral. Yeah.
What do you mean you do
Yeah,
referrals?
So I refer health insurance, like Medicaid, like low,
Oh, are these the
like for
people
people
who
that can't get it. Like it's Medicaid insurance. So every person that I do refer that signs up, he pays me for.
so have you
it's
been-
Medicaid?
so are you
it's like
calling them on the
0
phone?
down, and you probably have to pay too much. So you can go to like a pharmacy, you know what I'm saying, and
So do you call these people on the phone?
I goes around and find them and ask them, do they want?
So you're not
Health insurance.
responsible for the spam calls I receive from that? Okay. So when you drug tested today, what are the results going to be?
I'm pretty dirty. I am.
Okay, see,
I
you
am.
got to be honest with me right
I am.
now, because now's the time to let me know everything.
I
All
am.
right, what are you going to be dirty for?
Marijuana.
What else?
That's it. That's all I do. That's all I do.
Well, you can't do that anymore.
Okay, that's fine.
All right, what's the court cost in this? All right, so the court costs in this case are approximately $325. Are you able to pay that off in installments?
Yes.
Okay. So the court is going to sentence you to 4 years in the prison, suspended and probated for 5 years. There's a $500 fine that will be probated. Proof of employment within 30 days. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. How far did you go in school?
To 10th grade.
Why? Why didn't you graduate? I tell people this all the time. You know what's a shame? School here is free. I've seen some documentaries where little children, elementary school children, they have to walk to go to school. And Lawrence O'Donnell has this thing, and I try to send donations to him. It's called Kids in Need of Desk. And you know what that is?
Need of what?
Kids, KIDS, in need of desk, DESKS. And you know what it is? There's a country, and I want to say it's on the continent of Africa. It may be Malawi. They do not have desks for students to sit at. So they sit on the floor. And the floor, it's not carpeted. It's just a dirt floor. And so what he did, he said, you know what? These children need desks. So the donations go to this company that's there. So the people in the village, the men will have a job. They make desks for the students, and then the desks go to those students. And you know, those students who don't have electricity, don't have running water, some of them now, they've gone back. They are now doctors. And here in America, you will have people who come here don't even speak the English language. Next thing you know who the valedictorian of first in class is? Somebody who came in here and didn't speak the language. I don't know what's wrong with people dropping out of school and acting like it's too hard. And since it's Black History Month, slaves were not even allowed to read. And here you are, don't have any barriers to going to school. And I'm sure if you needed a uniform, they would have paid for it, but you don't even need a uniform. You just show up. And guess what? That school in Malawi, they don't even get to go there and have breakfast and lunch and dinner and all of that. So there is absolutely no excuse. So other than hustling to get people to sign up for Medicaid, Medicare, because I'm not going to allow that, what skills do you have to make money?
I know how to do a lot of things.
Well, you're going to have to do it. And how much is that necklace?
Just a little nigga. Silver little necklace, probably like.
I
silver
know.
necklace.
And the
That's probably like
earrings
about
and the teeth.
$50, something like that.
Okay.
Silver.
All right. So there's going to be no harm for injurious contact with minors, regular reporting by Zoom or in person, the UA hotline, test him for levels, proof of employment. And with the employment, he can no longer do what he's doing now. You're going to have to do something else. I'm going to want 90 sober meetings in 90 days. We can do a TAP evaluation out of custody. Follow TAP recommendations. We'll start with intensive outpatient treatment, field visits, 1 time per month for 5 months. Do the gang evaluation. Of course, if the Ferragamo comes back with what I think it's going to come back, then you all probably won't need to do the field visits for 1 time per month. The gang supervision will handle that. There's going to be 180 hours of community service restitution. That will be waived if you are in if you obtain your GED, or if you obtain some sort of certificate for a trade. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And I know that when people have been to prison, it's hard to get trades or do this. But when I was a defense attorney, I had clients who would go to prison, they would get out and they would become, what is it called? Welders, because there's a big need for welders. And being in prison did not stop them from being able to do that. All right, probation, is there anything else? Is there anything else you need from the court to be successful?
Oh, ma'am.
All right, last thing I'm gonna add is no unsupervised contact with minors. And let me just tell you the reason why I'm doing that. Because I know that you need to take care of yourself before you try to be in a relationship with somebody where they have young children. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Show you what's entitled trial court certification of defendant's rights to appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.